All right, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave. Long time no see. How was y'all Thanksgiving? But we back with a requested video from somebody in our community, and it is called "Do White People Experience Racism?" Now, I'm gonna save my opinion to the end. Just a good little lengthy video. You feel me? I got all the black stuff I can have on. You know what I'm saying? I got the black power shirt on with the hold on. With the, you know what I'm saying, the beautiful black women, you feel me? Got that on. Got my, I don't even be wearing this hat. My Hank Aaron hat. If you know, you know. Hank Aaron's a legend. And you know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to be unbiased. You know what I'm saying? I'm try to, you know what I'm saying? Hear everybody's opinion, because you got to respect everybody's opinion at the end of the day. But this should be interesting. It's from Jubilee. Let's just get into it, man. I'm interested and ready to see, you know what I'm saying, how this gonna go. And if you enjoyed today's video and if you enjoy my opinions, leave me a like, man. Even if you don't enjoy my opinions, because I seen last time I did one of those, you know what I'm saying, kind of controversial videos, somebody just liked my shit. I don't even get likes while we here, you feel me? So don't be disliking it, bro, if you don't agree. Just don't watch. But excuse me, y'all. We gonna jump right into it, man.
That brings humans with opposing beliefs or experiences together. These discussions may contain viewpoints that are the result of misinformation. Remember to seek out experts and to be critical of your own biases while forming an opinion. Please see the humanity in each participant, and as always, we encourage empathy.
For sure. All right, let's get into it, man. They warned y'all.
Two things can be true. You can have had a very hard time. Privilege is not just limited to white people, but to say white privilege doesn't exist from a historical context, to me, is respectfully absurd.
I ain't gonna lie, if a nigga in here saying white privilege isn't a thing, I'm gonna try not to get triggered.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt.
Okay.
White people also experience racism.
In what sense, though? Because like I said last video, y'all, this is my one pause. I'm gonna do one pause. I'm gonna do one pause every 5 minutes. Like I said in the what was the video? I think they were scaling your racism. Yeah, like how racist are you or whatever. Like I said in the last one, racism is a system created by white people to oppress black people. You feel me? So in that sense, if we have no power, no control as a black person, how can we be racist, or how can a white person experience racism if it's something they created? That's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna just watch.
Definitely not a one race against the other. It goes all ways. It's not. It doesn't matter if you're white, if you're black, if you're Asian. Doesn't matter. You could experience racism no matter what color your skin is.
I think that people have a problem.
I feel like you can experience prejudice. That's two pauses I didn't mean to, but I feel like you can experience someone being prejudiced towards you. Racism is a system.
Propensity to kind of have an aversion towards what's different from them. I've been called a cracker before. I've been told I was going to get beaten up because I was white. I would argue that on a systemic level, white people don't experience racism the same way a lot of other races experience racism. But I would say on an individual level, any group is capable of being racist towards another group as well.
So the argument against this position frequently is that racism is a system, not a sentiment in the United States. And I agree with that really strongly, but at the same time I'm Jewish and racially white and have definitely experienced racism, discrimination. The paradox is that most of that racism is coming from white people or European society, white nationalism, etc. that's directed at Jews. So I'm Dane and I'm Jewish. I'm proud of being Jewish and being connected to an ancient religion and culture, but I'm not proud to be white, I would say. White privilege, I think, is an aspect of American society. I think it exists. When I go to a job interview, I don't have to worry about my hairstyle or the way I normally speak or my name. And that's something perhaps a black person would have to worry about.
Can they disagree?
All right, I didn't. He made a really good point, bro. You know how irritating it is having dreads, trying to get a job, cause instantly they gonna think thug, which is true. No, I'm just playing, but still, like, I be having to like, what am I do with my hair? Like, look at my hair. Like, I can't wear a do rag there like I wear hair. I be having to like put it in a ponytail, shit like that when I go to an interview. But like, and his, you know what I'm saying, he could just go like this, and he damn near already got the job once they see him. You feel me? No experience at all. He really don't have to have nothing. He could just walk in there like, oh, you look like a clean cut dude. You got the job. With me, I gotta show and like, y'all get what I'm saying, bro. Oh shit. Let's get back to it.
Step forward.
Okay, here we go.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers? Like, chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that's actually...
Sure.
So I just want to say that I want to validate everyone's individual experiences. I do also believe that white people experience bias, prejudice, but the reason I did not step forward is because, by definition, racism is tied to power and economics. You talked about systemic discrimination. I don't feel white people experience racism by definition and by actual concept.
What is the definition of racism and who wrote that definition?
In the late 1500s, early 1600s, there was slavery. They started bringing over slaves, but there was really no concept of classifying people in terms of race. It's just we're bringing these people over and they're slaves. What ended up happening is some of the slave owners who were white started mixing with some of the slaves. And now here you have these black people that look like the people that are owning things. So they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. The theory of race was formed to classify a group of people who would be lesser than and have less economic power. And this would be imposed against them for hundreds of years. So that has not been the white experience in this country, but it does not invalidate the things that white people experience. It's just not racism by definition. Is it prejudice? Is it bias? Is it wrong? Yes.
Mine is simple. If one person...
It happens every type of video that I react to like this. I know it's gonna be somebody just like put it perfectly. Racism is a system created by white people. So as a black man, in my opinion, you can't be racist towards someone. You can be prejudiced, of course. Everybody can be prejudiced to everybody. A Mexican individual can be prejudiced to an Asian individual. You know what I'm saying? You have your own opinions, your own stereotypes you already have made in your head just because of the color of their skin. You know what I'm saying? Which is not right, but racism, I feel like, is a system created by white people. So yes, you can be, you know what I'm saying, you can experience prejudice and get called out your name and other stuff like that. But that's being prejudiced. Someone being prejudiced towards you, not being racist. I'll continue now. I'm interested to see what you gotta say.
And treats another person differently because of the...
Yes.
Mine is simple. If one person treats another person differently because of the color of their skin, to me, that's racism. I will tell you that I was stopped by the police plenty of times when I was a young man. And I will also tell you that I then decided to spend 35 years as a policeman. I'll tell you that I stopped lots of kids coming home from school. Depending on who it was that I stopped, the first thing out of their mouth would be, "You only stopped me because I'm black." And I would say, "You're driving a sports car with a back window that's this big. I can't see who's driving, and I stopped you because you're doing 95 and a 55. I had no idea who I was pulling over until I stopped."
I'm hearing him, but I find stupid shit funny. Why did he say, "I pulled a lot of, black people over," and leaned over and looked at that bro right here? Why did he just do that? Hold on.
The first thing out of their mouth would be,
hold on.
Depending on who it was that I stopped, lots of kids.
See, why did he turn towards him?
Depending on who it was that I stopped, the first thing out of their mouth would be, "You only stopped me because I'm black." And I would say, you're driving a sports car with a back window that's this big, I can't see who's driving, and I stopped you because you're doing 95 and a 55. I had no idea who I was pulling over until I stopped you. Now, if I treat you differently because you're black, then I'm a racist. But if I write you the same ticket that I was going to write you before I knew who was behind the wheel, I'm not.
So I'm glad you used that example, and I want to commend you for your service for our country. But I do want to say, because I've actually taught classes for the LAPD and for their cadets about these issues. But what I can say, which is a statistic, and which is also a fact, is that 60% of our prison population is African American.
Different issue.
Yes, but let me finish, please. Is African American males, right? When you go into a system,
nigga, let her finish. Now I'm getting mad because you doing too much, because she's bringing real facts, and now you getting pissed about it because she's not just bowing down. Niggas hate on women that defend themselves, especially these type of niggas. Hate a woman that's gonna stand up for herself and not just be like, okay, you got it. Nah, she's gonna tell you what she knows, and which is the truth, which has facts. So say something again, I'm gonna jump through this damn video.
And you are kept in that system, and you're cycled through probation, and there is a systematic sequence of oppression. That's not happening to white males. So it's bigger than just the stop itself. It's the system. My name is Sierra. I'm an actor, a speaker, and a human rights activist. I'm very proud to be African American, to be Black.
Me too.
The challenges that come with being Black, also being a Black woman, are very real. I'm at a place in my life where I'm acknowledging these things are real, discrimination is real, the systematic oppression of Black people is very real, but I will succeed in spite of that.
Damn,
the
Skippy.
police force is foundationally racist.
I want to start off by saying I don't think that every cop out there today is racist.
Same.
I think there are a lot of them who are really doing good work. What I know from the establishment of the policing in the United States, that is directly from the slave catchers who were hired to catch runaway slaves and bring them back home.
Yeah, I agree that all cops aren't racist. I had plenty of interactions with police that were fine, but I was told by a former police officer who was, a cop who decided he didn't want to do that anymore, that, the training is pretty much specialized for only colored people, especially Black people, that if you're around them, they're the most dangerous, so you have to act in certain situations or react in certain situations,
I think I just really want to emphasize that I really think that there are some officers who are white that don't even believe that they're doing anything that may be racially motivated, because they're simply doing what they were taught to do.
Exactly.
I come from a police family, and I'd like to add, they do offer diversity trainings in the academy. So either it needs to be more extensive, or maybe we need to take it a step back and fix the selection.
That nigga back there can't stop moving. He itching to it. Well, like just relax, bro. They gave you your chance. Now you wanting to butt in so bad. Relax,
because
bro.
that process could be inherently racist. Hello, my name is Nia, and I am Black. I'm proud of my race because when I look back historically at what people of my heritage have gone through, and to see where we are now, it's remarkable, and it definitely pushes me to continue to be resilient and innovative as they were.
Damn, Skip.
We've got passion, we've got determination, and if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
It's a long video, y'all.
Historically, people formed groups, villages. Some people were hunters, some people were farmers, and then you had whoever was gonna protect the group. And over hundreds of years, thousands of years, whatever it is, that's how we wind up having cops, firemen, armies, and navies. Community policing as a theory is a good idea. As a practice, it has some hiccups. When I show up at your house because you and your husband got into it and he beats you up and I'm friends with him, so do I want to take him to jail? He's my friend. Or I live in the same neighborhood and I go deal with some guy who's a really bad dude, and he says, I know where you live, I know where your kids are. So to some degree, we have to have a little separation. This is going to get into a hot button topic, but I will tell you that, you know, when I watched the horrible video of George Floyd, I will tell you that I can justify many of the things that happened, but I cannot justify 9 minutes on his neck or back. But what I can also tell you is I, as a policeman, and this is my personal opinion only too, the officer who was on him for 9 minutes, he probably spent too much time in the same neighborhood dealing with the same problems over and over again that he became jaded.
Isn't that what being a police officer is?
Yeah. It's a social service job.
And you're assigned to that district or that community.
But I think you need to move around so that you get to see other things. You don't become that jaded.
The police, no matter what your race is, you know, we have to be integrated all together with the community. And it doesn't have to be community policing, but we all have to understand each other more. I think cultural competency would be very helpful. Like, that's my issue. Whether or not the foundations of the police force was or still was racist, now we can change that, but it starts with.
This is going to be my last pause for a little while. That nigga had the floor. They gave him the floor. They let him talk. And that nigga came up with that? What are you talking about? None of that made sense. You went from going to, oh my God. He went from, villagers and people protecting the village to, you going to someone's house over a domestic violence dispute and the person saying, I know where you live. What the fuck? Then you went on to talk about George Floyd? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Cops. Like, at the end of the day, it's the bad police officers that are our issue. Not all police officers, but the bad police officers, we need to vet them out, and the good police officers, we need to, you know, encourage them to be amongst the community.
How do we vet them out?
By making the police unions accountable, because I feel like that demographic of officers, they're actually making things a lot worse for the other officers that are actually just trying to do their job. I think that we need to get some type of real accountability. That I don't think the police should be policing themselves. So when those cops that aren't upholding their oath, they can be properly removed instead of getting all of these passes.
The bad police officers, I hate the term like the bad apple. It's like, no, you're a faulty grenade. Like, you're ruining your whole department reputation. I feel like I was held up to higher standards working at Whole Foods sometimes. I got 3 chances out, but like Derek had so many.
17 reports before George Floyd.
17 reports. It's like, get him out of there. What are you guys doing?
Do you
it was only a matter of time before he did something that.
Do you think they should get paid more?
I think police officers should get paid more. I also think police officers should do less. Why do I get sent to all of the mental health cases? Why do I get sent to all of these things? Now, I'll tell you why I get sent to them, is because we'll stop sending the police there, and then something horrible and tragic is going to happen, and they're going to say, why didn't we have a cop there?
Do you think we need to have different divisions like mental health and just other, or maybe even specific police that are just for the schools? Like, do you think that that would help with a lot of the issues?
No. We do have specialized police officers in certain things. But if we keep specializing and we get so compartmentalized that I can't go, I'm right across the street from you when you're screaming for help. Yeah. That's not what I do. Got to go find the guy that deals with screaming women, or whatever it is. Fair. My name is Jimmy, and I am a retired police officer.
Fuck what he talking about. That's the one thing
I'm not going to tell you
I agree on him with.
There are no racists on the police department.
That's a fair
I don't think blacks were historically treated fairly under the law. I think that we have made great progress, great strides. I think we have to continue to get better, but I also think we probably see racism to this day in places where it maybe isn't.
I sometimes wish I was a different race.
You on your own, sister. Proud Blacks up here.
I'd say not so much these days, but definitely 100% when I was a kid, I wish I was white.
Okay.
I grew up with my white mom. I didn't see my black side of my family after a certain point.
I can get where she's coming from now.
I grew up in a small town. I was often the only student of color, definitely the only black kid. And I had this kinky hair. I couldn't figure out how to work with it. And everybody also would call me an Oreo.
That was judgmental of me. I apologize.
It was always just being othered.
I'm fully black.
And so being a kid, you just want to fit in. And for me, I wanted to be white. I just wanted to look like my mom. Wanted the nice straight hair.
Yeah,
I just
I
wanted
can
to
get
feel
her
like
point now.
Included.
Yeah, I remember in elementary school, I was thinking, no man is ever gonna like me because I freaking look like this. And I just remember hating my hair because as soon as puberty hit, it was just, it just blew up, and people kept on asking, do you even need a pillow to sleep at night? I'm like, I can't stand these questions. I can't do this. I'm Jordan, and I am biracial. I think being biracial is definitely living in the in-between, because culturally, yes, I grew up white and I completely know that. I was raised by my white mother, but then there's also a part where race is perceived, and it's what people put on you and how they respond to you in your everyday life.
It's so interesting because I grew up in predominantly non-Black communities, and for some reason still being the minority at home in the family as well as in school and in the world, I was always so proud to be Black. I actually really yearned to be around other Black people. So thankfully in college that was an experience where even though we made up a small community, I was still able to, okay, this is people who look like me.
I was in the military for 6 years. And I was usually the only Jew in my battalion. And I think that isolation produced a sort of pride and understanding of who I am and where I come from, so.
I have never wanted to be anything different than what I was, but that's because I really never thought about it. And to your all's point, maybe, I don't know, but maybe people treated you that way because there is this sense of wanting something that I haven't ever had before. I'd love to have a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? It's different than any other car I've ever had. It's different than what I grew up with.
I think personally for me, I was actually adopted by white parents and very diverse family. I think 6 out of the 8 of us are all adopted, all different races. I kind of have my own story apart from everyone else. And the same for everyone else that was adopted in my family. They have their own story. I always had pride in it, but at the same time, my parents are my parents no matter the color of their skin. It's the people who raised me, and they raised me just to not look at it through the lens of race, and that's what I've always done, and I've never wanted to change my race at all. I'm Joshua, and I'm Black. I've never experienced racism. I've experienced stuff from people from my own race.
I'm trying to hold it in, but nigga, this haircut. Bro, come on, gang. Come on, bro. We're not gonna be judgmental on this Friday. But
grew up in a white family by white parents. I was constantly called whitewashed. It upset me, but I didn't let it get to me. Being Black in America, to me, is just being an American in America, just like any other person.
White privilege exists.
I was gonna say, come on, bro. Don't.
America was founded by white people, for white people at the time. All of the institutions were designed to benefit white people. So, of course, white privilege lingers into society today. You can't deny that.
Where I would argue with you just a little bit is I think we throw out the term white privilege far too often for things that aren't necessarily white privilege.
I've got to agree with you completely on that one. I think there's generational white privilege for sure. But I think now it's almost used as a reason to not try as hard. If we stop doing that, just really work for it and not use white privilege as an excuse, then we could really get somewhere as in the black community.
I would respectfully disagree. Like all of that is true to an extent. Like I graduated university during the pandemic, the height of it. I went abroad for university. I got 2 degrees. I graduated with honors. Learned to speak 2 languages.
Hey, this Rico Suave nigga ain't said nothing all day.
No, it took me 9 months before I was able to get a job. Had to go completely outside of my field. But then when I looked at all of my white colleagues who were in my program, all of them were hired immediately.
I need to introduce you to my daughter. She's white. Took her a long time.
And I'm not saying that. I'm saying just
she didn't get her job in what her degree is in either.
I respect that, but my point is saying me comparing myself to the white students who were directly in my position, they're successful, I'm not.
This country was founded upon white people coming and then putting in act Jim Crow and other laws.
This is my last pause, and I'm gonna just hear everybody out. I respect everybody on this panel, because me personally would have crashed out. Just because I don't really take shit like that, like, with a grain of salt. You feel me? Like, take shit, especially about my race. Like, I'm very, 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 very proud to be a black man. You know what I'm saying? Black man. Proud. And, like, I take that shit serious, bro, because it's like a badge of honor. It comes with a lot of responsibilities. Like, yeah, of course, but I take that shit with pride, bro. And if, like, all this, like, stop the motherfucker while they talking and, oh, I should introduce you to my daughter. Nigga, shut up. Then I would have got kicked out, probably got arrested. You know what I'm saying? I'm not suited for these type of conversations yet. Hopefully I can, though, once I get older, a little more mature. But not right now, bro. Can't do that right now. That's why I, like, usually on topics like this, I'll just keep my mouth closed.
Saying that if you are not white, you are genetically inferior. You are not even a person. And some of those laws are still, and those systems are still in place today. 2 things can be true. You can have had a very hard time. Privilege is not just limited to white people, but to say white privilege doesn't exist from a historical context, to me, is respectfully absurd.
Something that I learned about recently is the privilege that exists in the medical field, specifically relating to the birthing process in giving epidurals. There was a study that's recently, or was debunked, that said that Black people have a higher tolerance for pain, which then has been falsely used by people who help support births in being hesitant to provide the epidurals for Black women giving birth. A lot of women die in childbirth. I don't know the exact statistics, so
3 times more likely Black women are to die.
Thank you. The fact that I will be taken seriously.
Man, salute to her.
More seriously
salute to Sierra,
because
all her facts are getting fact checked and they coming back as facts.
I see that as just an absolute privilege. My name is Bryn, and I just graduated, and I'm currently gaining hours to becoming a licensed therapist. As a therapist in school, we were taught to approach things with what's called cultural humility. Cultural humility is being curious, and instead of trying to have all the answers, working collaboratively with the client to kind of understand where they're coming from.
I have been fetishized for my race.
I'm gonna have to, you know what I'm saying?
You know, the standard one, oh, you're pretty for a Black girl. I'm like, that's not a compliment. That's so weird to say. And like one of the go-to pickup lines for men, they're like, oh my God, what are you? I'm like, this is not cute. I'm tired of having this conversation. This is lame. Yes, I know I have green eyes, hazel eyes, like, let's move on.
I think Black women in particular are just extremely sexualized and fetishized. Every day I go out, I'm making sure that my outfit is, you know, okay, because I don't want to draw certain attention. The way I wear my hair, if it's in an afro, if it's in puffs, if it's in braids, I'm going to get treated differently. Yeah, every single day something happens.
So there's a form of positive.
One more thing, this is my last pause. Bro, is there something I learned this year? Because I'm really starting to get into movies and like the art of making a movie. Nigga, there's literally a genre that was called. They don't do it much now. Back in the day, but back in the day, there's literally films like in the genre called black exploitation films. Like black exploitation, that explains it for itself. Like they got our black. Now, mind you, these are good movies, I guess you could say, but like it's such a crazy thing that's a thing, bro, because there's no such thing as like a white exploitation film, Hispanic exploitation film. Like they got, man, just Google it, you know what I'm saying, do the, you know what I'm saying, research for yourself. But that shit just crazy to me to think about, bro.
Positive anti-Semitism where Jews are perceived as like being put together, coming from money, being doctors, lawyers, and, you know, women are attracted to those sort of things. And then also too, like, all Jewish men are circumcised. Some women have that preference. So I've definitely experienced it, but I feel like it's a sort of preference. So I've definitely experienced it, but some women have that preference. And then also too, like, all Jewish men are circumcised. Some women have that preference. So I've definitely experienced it, but I feel like it's a sort of subtle, trivial thing. Like it never really bothered me, but it's occurred nonetheless.
Yeah, I've had experiences in high school, college. You know, people ask me to stop me, mainly women. Like, oh, are you Egyptian? Or are you black in this or black in that? There's always black in something else. And I'll, you know, let them know what I am, and they'd be like, oh, that's exotic or something crazy. You know, my name is Dino, and I am biracial. I don't want people to think that I'm split between being black or white. I acknowledge that I'm mixed and I'm biracial, but for the most part, growing up, I was always considered black. I consider myself black. My family did as well. So I don't think we should live in a colorblind society, but I also don't think we should stay stuck and feel like we can't move forward and still thrive and accomplish things because of our skin color and where we live in America.
The backpack falls apart in the middle of the year. Can my Android find my perfect bag? So I was looking through some old videos and spotted.
I would just have a question for everyone who stepped forward. I'm just curious how that's like. What's it like?
Exhausting.
It sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I think Black women historically have a really interesting relationship with desirability. Culturally, it seems as we're not desired. And then when we are, we're being fetishized. So it's like, okay, we're usually not desired, but now we are. Am I supposed to lean into this fetishization?
I think just being a woman, you know, we deal with certain things every day. Specifically being a Black woman, being fetishized, it's interesting because especially in my industry, because I'm there to work and be professional, I'm just super professional and I don't give any attention to that at all, that kind of energy, then I'm an angry Black woman. So I think that it's just really...
you can't win.
It does feel like that, so yeah, that you can't win sometimes.
Yeah, and there's also a flip side to it. It's like, for me specifically, I'm light-skinned amongst majority dark-skinned people, and people will deem me or deem other light-skinned people as a certain way, as either weaker or less than, or just like, okay, you're lighter than, so we're going to be so pro-Black that we're never going to, consider you as one of us, you're just other.
Well, that touches just on beauty standards in the Black community, and that's colorism. Like, I've even been told, you're beautiful, you're not Black. It's just like these little things.
Yeah. Or you must be mixed with something, right?
Yeah. My name's Christina, and I'm biracial. I have been fetishized for the color of my skin on both sides. Black men will be really into me because I'm light-skinned, or other men who are not Black might be into me because I am that Black girl, but maybe I'm not too Black, and that, for whatever reason, is appealing. Being deemed as exotic or something other is just very problematic, and that plays into a lot of issues of colorism within the Black community at large.
We need reparations for the Black community.
Touchy. I'm not gonna say shit.
I don't think people need individualized paychecks. Like I don't think that's gonna work. But I think pouring funds into communities who could really use it, building jobs there, more education there, more opportunities would do so much. That's how I see it should be.
Anytime that Black communities in the U.S. try to, pull themselves up by the bootstraps. They were attacked. Like, I think it was in Tulsa, they bombed the city. Black Wall Street, it was completely destroyed. So again, something needs to be done.
When the Civil War ended, there was a representative from Ohio, I can't remember his name, but he was a radical Republican and advocated for the phrase 40 acres and a mule for every emancipated slave. So there was supposed to be reparations, and there never was. And I think especially as a Jewish person, I mean, Jews received reparations for the Holocaust and are still receiving them. And in my mind, there's...
All right, one more thing. For all my black viewers, or just anybody that just want to learn the history of, you know what I'm saying, an African American or a black person in itself, look up a documentary, or you can even watch what is it? Judas and the Black Messiah, and just look up the story on Fred Hampton and how he got treated. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's no amount of money that will ever undo the wrong of the Holocaust. So that you could, all the money in the world will never make it right. But I think the idea and principle of reparations is good. Logistically, I don't know how it would happen.
I just wanted to say the reason I stayed back was because I wasn't entirely sure what was meant by reparations, but your example of the Holocaust, I would say that I agree.
Similar reason, when I think of reparations, I think of something similar to a stimulus check. My worry is, with the lack of financial literacy, will we actually make strides? So I would love the idea of investing money into programs in underserved communities, something like that. But I do have a fear that even if we did have the money, without that generational knowledge of how to take care of our finances, that it would just deplete and defeat the purpose.
But even if that were to happen, though, I still think that that would still be the right step. You know, we'll give these people the funds or whatever. We'll give them our promise, and if they float or sink or whatever, that's on them. At least, we as a country took the right step.
I'm all for money going to the community. I am for that, because the communities right now are the way they are because of things in the past. But to give out checks to individual people, there's a difference between learning from the past and then still getting caught up in the past. I mean, if I had a time machine, I could go back in time and be like, hey, you never gave us the 40 acres and a mule. I would be all for that, and I would get on that for the people who were affected and actually went through slavery. But in today's age, no one's experienced it and gone through it. Yes, the communities are taking hit by that, but I mean, I've never.
You don't think your ancestors experienced slavery?
I think they do, but I haven't. I've never been in it, so why should I get a check from somebody else who never put it? You should be going way back.
So what about the people who are the descendants of the slave owners, who are still reaping the financial benefits of your ancestors who slaved in those fields for literally generation after generation? You don't think that during that time,
you know what?
Your great...
I'm gonna stop judging this brother. He's just lost. He doesn't know. It's a certain word I'm looking for. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't let it out.
Your grandfather could have been building a business that could be flourishing by now, and you would have a multi-million-dollar franchise as they do off the backs of others. You don't think that deserves some rectification for you in the present time?
To be honest, no, because again, it's something that happened in the past. Again, I haven't experienced it. I'm doing fine right now. I'm doing fine, and I'm not going to be all upset over somebody else's ancestors who I don't even know who enslaved my ancestors. I don't need it. I have no reason to have it.
So for me personally, I'm not upset about it, but I do feel my grandfather, on his side, they were the first family in the state of Texas to actually file for reparations. And for me, I'm succeeding in spite of that. But to this gentleman's point, when the government says, hey, we're gonna do a thing, obviously the government in itself saw the weight in the air of the wrong, just as the German government did. I think if I want to buy 90 gold chains, that's my business. I think it would be unfortunate, but I think that if I'm entitled to something, I think it should be in the same fashion that the people of Jewish descent got it. I think it should be in the same fashion that the people that are Japanese descent got it. So You might think it doesn't affect you, but overall, I think that we have been greatly impacted by slavery, even up to current. I just choose not to focus on it nonstop so it doesn't become something that holds me back. But I definitely think it's something that we're entitled to.
Thank you.
Great, guys.
Clap, y'all. Damn, clap. All right, y'all. I want to look at a few comments to see what a few people got to say. I'm really interested what they have to say. I actually want to see a middle ground between Africans and African Americans. For the most part, there's an issue between both groups on whether to identify as one or be separate duty. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point, because a lot of Africans don't like when you niggas call yourselves Africans. I just wish there was more racial. Yeah. I'm not sure if it was done before, but having 3 different parties. And the video was really neat. Cool. I love that the actual discussion. Yeah, I can respect that too. I'm glad I'm gonna read this after, but I'm glad they didn't argue, because if I was there, I would want to fight bro at the end. The dude that was saying, "Oh, I don't need reparations. What do I need reparations for? I was a slave. I mean, it's not like if I could go back to time and be like, here, give it to my ancestors, I would. Like, I would have got triggered. But this is the last one I'm gonna read. Okay. My great-great-grandfather was one of the first free slaves in Louisiana able to purchase land. He made sure to put in writing on 5 different stationaries, because some lawyers at the time didn't accept a will from a former slave, so he had to find one that would legitimize it, that his little plot of land would go to his children. His first son did the same. My grandfather as well. My dad took me to a tiny 1.8, I'm not good at math, y'all. I just know how to count money. Acre of land in Louisiana, and said, our family is proud owners of this land. It's one of the smallest but biggest, most amazing things I've seen in my life. Wow. I want to do my family got land. That's something I want to prejudice against race is racism. Prejudice be proud. Life doesn't discriminate. People do be proud of it. Come on, bro. Watch out. Like, I wish more people understood the difference between discrimination and racism. Fair. I think the fact, do a blind and deaf middle ground. That's fucked up. I'm not even gonna get into that. Y'all already know how I feel about that. But that was it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, share this with your family, your friends, join the community, man. We take all races here. You subscribe, you a part of this community. It don't matter what race you is. Man, if you black, white, Asian, Hispanic, you know what I'm saying? We are a community. We building something, you know what I'm saying, bigger than, you know what I'm saying, the color of our skin. We just proud, and I'm trying to build a unity here, bro, of just good people, you know what I'm saying? But this was it for today's video, and I will see y'all in the next ones. Peace.